Welcome to the How Did We Get Here podcast, the show that allows inspiring women from all walks of life a place to tell their story. Follow along every fortnight as we chat about each woman's challenges, life lessons, and words of wisdom that they have picked up along the way. Everything that has led them to being right here and right now. I'm your host, Jess, and from wherever you are in the world, I hope the story you hear today makes you smile, laugh, and maybe even cry a little. I hope it inspires you and fills your cup up just a little bit more, because in this day and age, inspiration and stories are always worth sharing. So grab a coffee or a tea and settle in for today's episode. And welcome back to the How Did We Get Here podcast. Thank you all so much for joining in to listen to today's episode. And I would like to welcome our latest guest, Christina. Thank you so much for saying yes to being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Jess. I was excited when you rang me while I was at GDR Festival and you said you wanted me on. To be honest, I've stopped doing podcasts just because life is just so busy. But as soon as I knew you were Jager's friend, Jager's a really good friend of mine, and I'm like, if Jager likes you, you must be top tier. So we're going on the podcast.
Fuck yeah. That made me so happy because she was talking about it for a while and I was like, oh my God, yeah, I need to try and reach out to her because I've followed you for ages. And I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to shoot my shot and see how we go. And then you guys FaceTime me and I was like, oh my God, this is wild.
Well, I'm glad we're here now.
Me too. So to kick off our episode, I always love to start by asking my guests, how would you describe yourself as a person without saying what you do for work?
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
It's not my words. I'm going by because it's really hard when people ask. So, I've been asked to do this before, and it just feels so weird describing yourself. So I'm going by what other people would say. They would describe me as unapologetically myself, just someone that has no filter. You get exactly what you see. I'm not someone that is afraid to just speak my truth and talk about taboo subjects. I'm strong, resilient, very much of a chatterbox. I do chat a lot. I have ADHD.
Love a yap. Yeah.
Love a yap. Here we are. And I'm just a type of person that just grabs life with two hands and just goes all in all the time. And I'm just someone that is a friendly person, loves a chat, and is just here to experience life.
Absolutely. I think that's a great description of you. 100%. Like
good.
even without like knowing you on a personal level just yet, like I can see that about you. And that's why I needed you on the podcast because I just want to know more. I just want to know more about her.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here to answer all the questions.
So for our listeners and for myself, can you sort of give us a little bit of a background into your origin story? So things as far back as you want to talk about, from your adolescence, your early teenage years through high school, then your early adult life, and, you know, real milestone moments that have made such an impact on you and who you are as a person, and sort of how these have created your values and how your personality is today.
Yeah, and I'm glad you could recognize that has a lot to do with as well your upbringing, because for those that don't know, I'm a T5 paraplegic, so I'm paralyzed from the chest below from a freestyle motocross accident that happened 6.5 years ago now. And I got all those descriptive words, you know, since the injury, and it's just like funny to me because like all those words is something that I believe I was before my accident. I feel like I was, you know, very resilient and very strong-minded, stubborn, just all of these things well before my injury, and that's what prepared me, I believe, to be as capable and as I believe as a child I grew up, I'm a twin sister, so I have a older sister by 7 minutes, I believe 6 minutes.
I'm 2 minutes older.
I don't know that. Pardon?
I'm 2 minutes older than my twin.
Oh yeah, that's right, you're a twin, that's right.
Yeah.
We're both twins. So you already know what that's like. So for those that don't know, growing up with a twin it's incredible. I wouldn't have it any other way. You get people ask you all the time, like, oh, what's it like being a twin? I'm like, what's it like not being a twin? Like
100%.
That sounds horrible. Like I just,
how do you navigate the world without your twin? What do you mean?
yeah. So I only had my one twin sister, Irene, and we grew up in the Riverland. So it's rural, South Australia. So it's about 2.5 hours north of Adelaide, northeast. And we're not the smartest. Greek, English was our second language. When we were younger, we actually spoke fluent Greek. So we come from a Greek background. Our grandparents flew in from Greece. Our parents are both Australian, but both grandparents are Greek. We grew up on the vineyard on a 20-acre property, so we were very much outdoorsy kids, not kids that were ever like stuck watching TV or the PlayStation unless that was our punishment or were homesick for the day.
Yep.
So we were very active kids. We never played sports growing up. We never, and surprising, that's pretty surprising for where I'm from. Like everyone plays sports.
Everyone did like soccer or some sort of sport. Yeah. Team
Netball
sport.
or basketball, football,
Yeah.
where we are. Like you got it. If you're a female, at least netball or basketball, one of the two. We never did. And I think as twins, because we had each other, and now diagnosed ADHD, and she's actually autistic ADHD, which makes so much sense now.
Whoa.
But she only just got diagnosed like last year. So growing up, I think we just entertained ourselves so much as kids being outdoors that we never needed sports. My family, we're not wealthy, and I wouldn't say we're poor, but we come from an upbringing where we had duct tape holding our kitchen floor. We had an underground tank outside. There's an outside toilet. We had an inside toilet too. Outside laundry. The house is really old.
Yeah.
The cars that we drove, Dad, like we never had like brand new cars. Dad bought his it wasn't even brand new, it was secondhand. But his first nice car, which was a V8 Crewman, when we were like 17. So we were not materialistic people growing up. We weren't spoiled as kids. We were only allowed presents, birthdays and Christmas, but our family valued holidays. So our parents would take loans out and take us on an overseas trip every second year at least. So so we were very fortunate as kids to experience from a very young age different cultures and different countries. And I think as a big milestone thing as a child was from a very young age really appreciating how lucky we are in Australia and witnessing firsthand how much families would struggle overseas, and our Greek family in Greece. And
whereabouts in Greece is your family from?
So Dad's side is Zakynthos, beautiful island.
No way. Oh my God. That's one of my favorite places in Greece.
Okay, because you know what? No one's normally been there. Yeah, and thank you.
I love it in Zakynthos. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I tried it. So to anyone listening that's ever planning a trip to Greece, if you look at the map, you'll see the mainland and you'll see a whole bunch of islands. All the tourists go to Athens and island hop the islands, which is fair enough. But Zakynthos is on the other side, and that's why it's such a hidden gem. No one goes there.
No one knows.
It is the most beautiful island, and I'm not just being biased. It is actually the most beautiful island compared to Mykonos, Santorini. Like
absolutely,
they're good for one photo, and that's
it. Yep,
Zakynthos. So Dad's side Zakynthos. Apparently, our ancestors were pirates.
Oh, cool.
I'm just going to take that and claim that.
Sweet.
Pretty
cool.
That's pretty cool. And my mum's side's from the mainland, and I've forgotten the name of that place.
It's fine. It's all good. That's amazing. Well, my mum was born in Athens. So she came to Australia when she was young, but she was born in Athens. And then my dad's side of the family is from Sparti. So like Sparta and like a little town in Sparta. And then from my dad's side, Papu was from Kalamata.
Yeah. Kalamata.
Where all the olives are from.
No, okay, that's why I'm saying Kalamata.
Yeah.
I'm like, that sounds so familiar. Maybe that's where Mum's from.
Yeah.
Olive. Okay, yeah. I've been there. That's cool. So do you speak fluent Greek or anything, or?
I used to be able to a lot better when I was younger, but I think so. We went to Greece for the first time about 7 or 8 years ago. And I think while I was over there, my Greek got better. I was a teenager, like I was like early 20s, but like I can understand really well. I can speak sort of like good Greek, but it's sort of Greeklish. Like I've got some English words wrapped in there. Yeah. I wish I was better. We went to Greek school as kids. My twin sister and I were forced to go to Greek school. I hated it at the time, but now I'm so glad that we went. And now as an adult, I love I still love listening to Greek music, and I feel like I practice my Greek when I listen to Greek music.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not as good as what I want it to be. So
Yeah, I can't speak it at all. I can understand it, but I can't speak it. I think growing up, not realizing I had ADHD kind of explains why
you
a lot
couldn't
of it.
learn it.
Yeah, I think, and only in, like you said, when we've been to Greece 3 times. So we went when we were six. Shit, I was 6 years old, 16 years old, and maybe 18. I went again.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and I feel like every time you're there, it's like I need that like real life experience. And then you start picking up words, and in my head I'll say it, but I will never have the.
Say it out loud, yeah.
Yeah, I could do it.
Yeah.
I feel embarrassed to like stuff it up.
Okay, so as young kids, you guys traveled a lot, and that.
So from a young age, big thing wake up call was the great, like having that grateful attitude of like other countries are beautiful and you want to travel and stuff, but like you come back to Australia, like wow, we're so lucky here. We're so lucky, and just dad and mum, always reminding us of how lucky we are as children. Dad especially, he's like me, in the sense of like talking and repeating ourselves. And dad always did that growing up. Like, we're so lucky to go fill up a shopping trolley and take it home. Like people can't do that. People don't have a roof over their heads. They have families sharing a whole house because they can't have their own house. You know what I mean? So growing up, having that
mentality.
as a young age, yeah. And I feel like because we didn't have technology as good as kids these days have it, it's different when you live it and experience it compared to I think seeing it online. Like I feel like you see it online, you could see a war happening on TikTok and then swipe across and it's a funny video and then it's a sad video. And it's not a real life experience. So that was a pretty big part of our upbringing, family time, cousins, all that, like all those special memories, valuing family time and dad's hospitality and mum's hospitality with like when we had guests, always like giving guests the ultimate experience and treasuring like those moments more than the money in the moment. Like we might be tight that week, but dad will then, he'll be complaining about money and then he'll just splurge
a barbecue for everyone and his dog. Yep.
And then he might like think, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And learning those values as a young kid, realizing that money isn't that important. And then we went to my sister and I went to university, studied teaching for 3 years before we dropped out. I think growing up as a teenager, more so, I learned a valuable lesson within the education system. Like I learned that I wanted to be a teacher, and the reason I dropped out was because I was being taught that every child isn't the same and we all learn differently, yet whatever we were learning in university wasn't applied in the real life. And it just, I found dirt bikes when I was 19. So this is at the stage when I started uni and I found something that I was finally passionate for because I didn't play sports. I did play soccer once in like year 12, fill in for the girls, but it wasn't a passion for mine. I don't like team sports. So when I went to university, finding dirt bikes and riding made me realize, holy shit, this is what passion feels like. This is what enthusiasm feels like. And it made me, when I went to my work placement at a kindergarten or wherever I was at the time, it made me realize that I don't
want to be there.
Like this. It didn't align with me, and I just dropped out, and I didn't experience anxiety until university. I had my first like anxiety attack because of my first assignment, and I remember ringing dad, and dad on the phone was saying, he goes, like, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm like, if I don't do this assignment, I'm going to fail. And he goes, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm like, if I fail, I'm going to have to do this next semester. And he goes, well, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like, what? And I'm like, I might have to do another 6 months of uni. He's like, hey, is that the worst? I'm like, yeah, it will cost me money. He goes, and is that the worst? I'm like, yes. And he goes, that's not that bad. It's not the end of the world. And like, oh my God, that was so important to hear back then.
Yeah.
Because you realize like, well, I didn't know what anxiety was, and realizing that we make something that's like about this big so much bigger than it has to be. So learning that as a teenager, learning my passion, that were big things that I guess shaped me into becoming like someone that was really driven to follow things that made me
really passionate about.
Yeah, because then I notice if I'm passionate about it, it makes me happy and I enjoy it. I'm a better person for it, and I don't want to be somewhere where I can't be like that.
Happy, yeah. So how did you become first introduced to dirt bike riding? Like how was that?
One of my sisters.
Okay. Yeah.
So and my sister's ex as well, and we found dirt bikes and we got on we got on the back of the bike, and the first time I did it, I was just like, holy shit, this is amazing. Don't get me wrong, we grew up on a quad bike, and my sister and I would ride that around the block and
Same.
chase semis because we were on the highway, so we could drag semis.
That's
And
cool.
we'd do the toot toot, and that was fun. And then, but it was just different. The quads and dirt bikes, completely different thing. So then when I got on the dirt bike, I was like, this is sick. Like, I'm going to buy one. And 2 weeks later, I bought a dirt bike, got obsessed. Then I started riding, and then I started doing motocross, which was even harder than what I was doing because I was just doing like enduro loops. And then the track would close on a Sunday because a race season would start. So they said, Christina, just race. And I'm like, I have no humility. Like, I don't care. I'm 19 years old, 20 years old at this stage. I don't care if I come last in a race because I knew I came in late. Like, other than these girls that had been,
training
going
for
since kids.
ages.
So I started racing and I'd come last. I didn't care. I just, that
loved
pressure.
it.
Yeah, I loved it. And the pressure of racing and being put under pressure is what I thrive under. So I enjoyed it. I knew I would progress more under those conditions than I would on a fun day. So I started racing, and then, 3 years into uni, I dropped out and I moved to Victoria because I started dating an ex there, and I started hitting ramps and like just progressing with the dirt bike, and ramps was like another level of like close to death experiences that just
Jesus Christ.
yeah, it was just so fun. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But what most people don't know is a year and a half before my accident, I actually had a serious accident that nearly paralyzed myself.
Whoa.
So I overshot a jump because I was jumping for one whole day on this certain run up, and obviously the dirt would build a rut over the day. So the next day, by then I'd hit it all day, so I knew the speed. I moved a rubber mat the next day to go hit it, not calculating the traction. Like, now I understand traction. I'm a drifter now. I kind of get that stuff, kind of. But back then I didn't understand putting a rubber mat would mean extra traction. I need to actually go slower. So I over jumped, landed I basically let go of the bike because the bike was nosediving. So I thought I was going to jump off, and I didn't. So the bike landed, and then my pelvis just like landed, and I compressed fractured. Yeah, I knocked myself out. Woke up, and it was about maybe half an hour later until it kicked in. That's how much adrenaline I had. Half an hour later, I start like touching my chest, and I'm like, I can't breathe. Like my bras are really tight. I didn't put two and two together, and then I'm like, something's wrong. So I took my bra off, and I'm like, I can't breathe. And then it was about 45 minutes later, that's when the pain started kicking in.
Yeah.
And then I went to hospital, compressed fractured a vertebrae. They told me I nearly paralyzed myself. Had a year off the bike.
Fuck.
Was in a really, really toxic relationship. Like, I was crying. Like, I would be surprised if I lasted 2 days without crying about something. And I would come home from work. I started becoming a supervisor at a traffic control company. So I went from hospitality to traffic control, was loving it. Like, I absolutely love traffic control. It was amazing. And I was a supervisor there, and I would stay at work till like 10 o'clock at night, get home, just because I didn't want to be home. So then I was like, a really distinctive point of my life was, I wish I could remember off the top of my head. There was a viral post that a blonde lady posted on Facebook, and it went viral. She was dying of cancer or something, and it was basically a death letter, and saying everything that she kind of like regretted, or what was important, what wasn't important. Like, for example, this is one thing I remember her saying, like, why do we wait to buy a candle for one of our friends for their birthdays? Like, why don't we just do that just because we appreciate our friend? And something like that. I was just like, wow, that's so true. Like, and there was just little things she spoke about. And because I was in a really bad place, I remember that letter was so pivotal for me. And I remember I was in a really bad situation. And I remember thinking, Christina, like, if you're going to stay in this relationship, you have to either you either leave, or you have to completely block it out, which I did the wrong thing. I completely blocked it out, which is not.
Oh my God.
Which is
That's not the healthy thing to do.
Yeah, not the healthy. But in saying that, I believe that's a big key thing that helped with my resilience. I learned to. It's not a healthy thing, but it did. Like, it. Yeah, it's not. I do not recommend. But I had this bad point, and I was like, you know what? I need my happiness back. I need
get back into riding.
Life's too short. I can't be crying every day. Like, I need to do what makes me happy. So I got back on the bike. So I'm like, the bike makes me happy. Let me get back on hitting ramps. And 6 months into it is when I decided to go back home to visit my family. And the accident happened. So it was the first jump of the day. I wasn't feeling the best, like mindset, like I knew I was feeling a bit sketchy. And same thing happened. There was rocks on the run up, and I was like, nah, it's a bit slippery. Let me get a rubber mat. So I got a rubber mat, got the guys to help me pull over a rubber mat, which is, I think, the reason that may have made me jump short, because I can only assume the reason I jumped short, because I always over jump normally for my first jump. But I think because of the accident 6 months before where I pulled the rubber mat and then over jumped, I would have said, like, don't go too crazy.
Hard. Yep.
And I jumped and I came short. The back of the bike hit the top of the deck. I basically like cartwheeled and like fell next to my bike, head on my head. So I fractured the skull, but my butt came back and hit the back of my head. They heard my back break. So
Wait, your butt?
My butt, yeah, scorpioned and hit the back of my head. And that's what my sister and that said. They witnessed it and they could hear my back break. So I just feel like, yeah, that's how with this injury, a lot of people don't understand with paraplegics or quads. There's complete and incomplete. So that's why you see some people walking that and they can't feel their legs, or some people that have a little bit of movement in their wheelchair. You're complete or incomplete. Incomplete is when you pinch the spinal nerve. You've got complete, which is a complete sever
of the spinal cord.
And then you have me, which is completely fucked. Like severed, retracted, no joint. Like there is nothing connecting that spinal cord. Like I because of the bend I did, there's nothing. There's cartilage growing in between there. So yeah.
Your sister.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get really emotional. I could not imagine that feeling of your sister watching you and seeing that happen and seeing that play out.
That's so for years, I didn't understand this. So for years, I was like, I'm fine. Like, I'm totally fine. I can handle this situation. I'm going to be okay. And for years, sharing my story and like, I didn't even think of my sister until someone asked Irene, or I was speaking to Irene, and she explained exactly what happened. She never did that. And she explained exactly what happened. And just her saying, like, when she was standing there and she's like, she couldn't call mum and dad for 45 minutes, an hour. She's like, how do I tell? Yeah, like, how do I say? Like, she couldn't do it, and she was standing up on the hill and hearing her say that, and she's like, oh my god, I've been so focused on like, I'll be fine. I'll be like dealing with the whole. I never really put myself in their shoes.
Yeah.
I just assumed that they knew Christina's fine. Like, there's nothing to worry about.
She's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and just because I can handle it doesn't mean they can. And I'm like, oh my god, of course, like, because I just never pictured myself in her. And if that happened to my sister,
and you were watching,
yeah, like I'm resilient as fuck. But you're right. Like, if this was our twin sister,
oh my god,
yeah,
I could not even imagine. Like, and just the feeling of absolute helplessness, and like there's nothing that she could have been able to do. So, what actually happened following the accident? So, from the initial accident itself, so after that, like what was your recovery? Like, what was everything that happened after that? Scans, hospital, all of that.
So I was flown. I had to wait. It was like 2 hours before I was flown.
Oh my god!
We had to wait 45 minutes, an hour till the ambos got there. The ambos got there. We had to get the helicopter in. So it was about an hour, and I just remember there's not much I remember. There's just distinctive moments I remember, and the one being when someone was at my legs saying like, "Can you feel this? Can you feel that?" And I could see them, and I knew like I'm paralyzed. Irene remembers as soon as that happened, which I can't remember this. She said my mouth quivered, like when you're about to cry. She goes, you did that, and then you stopped. And ever since then, you've never cried. You've never cried about your accident. And then I remember getting in the plane, in the helicopter, and just all I can remember, because I was pretty, by this stage, I think they drugged me up.
Drugged you up pretty hard.
Yeah, they put some heavy drug. But I just remember the noise of the helicopter, just that, like, and then and the paramedics saying stuff like, "You'll be all right, Christina. Like, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be," and sitting there going like, "Oh my god, they're just saying that. Like, you don't know. Like, you don't know if you're gonna survive. Like, you're still gonna get to hospital." Like,
Yeah.
am I gonna survive? Like they say that stuff just to keep you like alive.
Keep you going.
And I got to the Royal Adelaide Hospital. My family was there, so my family were very much keeping a brave face the whole time. So
Yeah.
this is why I never understood their emotions, because they never showed me their emotions. They never, looking back at the photos, you can see the stress
Yeah.
in mum and dad's face, but they never showed it to me. They just kept they matched my energy. They kept me like, so I
Positive.
just did. I was like, yeah, they're fine. They're
You're like,
clean.
yeah,
I'm
it's all
okay. Like,
good.
so I was in ICU for 3 days. The surgery itself, I lost like 6 liters of blood.
Whoa.
So I was very pale and weak. Like I couldn't sit up. I couldn't do anything. I had fluid in my lungs. I couldn't breathe. They had a breathing machine next to me, because every time I'd like choke, even now, my partner Irene, they know if I'm choking, I look at them and I'm like, water. They know Irene, like she'll panic run. She knows I can't even. I choke so much that I can't make noise because
Oh
I
my
don't have a
God.
diaphragm, because I don't have any abdominal muscles. My diaphragm can't contract, so I can cough, like do that deep cough.
Yeah.
So they run over, they give me water because I'm like choking. I had a breathing machine next to me, so then that it could pump air in me, so when I would choke, so I'd live off like lollipops. Hospital was like a bit of a blur. There was a lot I can't remember. It was very much just family and everyone coming to see me like I was on my deathbed. And then I went to rehab in Melbourne 3 weeks later. And my sister would like then come visit from there. Yeah, rehab was a bit different. It was 2 months at Royal Talbot in Melbourne, in Austin. No, that's Kew. Sorry, that's a suburb. And that was, yeah, that was a lot different to hospital, because hospital was very like,
Intense.
yeah, like, because I just couldn't do anything. I couldn't
Yeah.
shout. They were bed bathing me. They were shitting me in my bed, like literally. Like I would wait. Yeah, it was full on, because like I can't feel.
Yeah,
And I
you
felt like
can't. Oh my God.
I was getting winded. I'm like, what's going on? And the nurse is just like punching my gut to push, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh.
And they're bed bathing me. It was just very full on. Where rehab was more of a chance for me to like, I wasn't as high on. I was still on pain relief 24/7, but I was a bit more with it. And yeah, rehab was just another little challenge for me to just like get in and out. I did not want to be there. I did, and not for 1 second. Oh, just because like you felt, you could. It's so hard to explain this feeling unless you've experienced it.
Mm.
I felt like if I was standing, I would be treated differently. Like, not that they were being discriminative. It just
Yeah.
was like,
Why are
it
you
was like
talking
they
to me
were,
like that?
yeah, they was like treating me like, I don't know how to explain it. Like I was a child. Like
Yeah. That's how. Like I'm understanding that. That's how you felt. Like you're like, why are you
yeah,
talking to me like that? Like, why are you
I'm like,
talking down on me?
just because I've had this injury, I
Mm.
haven't lost the 23 years life
Of my
experience.
life.
My
Like I'm
my
not. My
brain,
brain's good.
yeah, like, so it was just that like, oh my God, I feel like the longer I stay here,
Mm.
the more I'm gonna be conditioned and brainwashed into thinking I'm limited, and
Yeah.
that like I can't do these things and this stuff. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of workers
Really.
that are like the opposite. They're really like supportive and positive, but the overall experience is like, get me out of
Out
here.
of here.
Like I want to get out.
Get me the
Yeah.
fuck out. I'm done.
Yeah, no, it was really, yeah, full on.
Wow. So from there, after rehab, so obviously take us maybe like 2 years after, where sort of did your experience in what happened to you in your accident, how did that change obviously the trajectory of your career and what you do now and what your purpose is now? Like, you
Yeah.
know,
Well, so the way I look at it, like I was just given a second chance, right? Like I feel like after my accident, everything that I've experienced from there to now is like a present. Like I've just been given this gift, and this is like I'm just appreciating every moment that I have, and it's changed. Like, don't get me wrong, I've always been a go-getter. Like anything I've ever done, I do it 100%. Like,
100%. Yeah.
there's no, I never half-ass anything. For example, this podcast, like rescheduling it because I knew I had surgery last week, and I'm like, nah, I'm gonna have anesthetic the day before.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have had Botox in my bladder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna be 100. Like I want to do everything 100%. And with the accident, it was just like, oh my God, you don't have a second chance. I was in a really toxic relationship, and after the accident is what was the only thing that gave me the strength to
To
break
get
up,
out.
because it was an abusive, financially, physically, emotionally abusive relationship, and getting physically abused for some reason only after the accident was the wake up call, because I was sitting there.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, fucking what?
I know. I don't actually speak about this on podcasts. So you're like,
Sorry.
it was
Bro.
bad. Yeah. Getting. I'm not gonna go into details, but
That's fine.
getting.
That's enough.
Yep, and getting my wheelchair taken away from me, and then speaking, because my family I never spoke to my family about it, because I knew the moment my twin sister.
Oh, she would have fucking killed him.
You can't tell your twin sister something and they're gonna let that go.
I
You know
would go to
that.
jail. If that was happening to one of my sisters, I would gladly go to jail for
So my sister, so when that happened, because this is when I was paralyzed now, so this time I was like, nah, I can't do this. Like, I will end up die. Like, I can't escape. I can't defend myself. Not that I ever did, and I just put up with it. This time I was like, oh my God, I could die here. So I rang my sister, and then he grabbed my phone. So not only did I not have my wheelchair, I didn't have my phone, and I'm
oh
like,
my God.
this reality check of like, I'm so vulnerable right now. That was my wake up call. And I feel like this injury has done a lot of that for me. It's done a lot of like, life is too short to be in a toxic relationship. Life is too short to be in a toxic friend group. Be surrounded by a friend. Not only, and this is the thing, like, I'm trying to teach Jesse this too. It's not only because I'll say certain things about certain individuals, and he'll be like, oh,
Is Jesse your partner?
sorry, Jesse's my partner, my beautiful partner. He's amazing. He's
Oh,
amazing.
trust me, I know. I've seen the TikToks. I'm like, oh my God, I love them.
He's beautiful. He's
just amazing.
Oh, he's a saint. When I try to explain stuff like this to Jesse, Jesse's like, oh no, like you might be like overreacting, or it's like, no. It's so important to surround yourself by people that are making you feel good and are doing good like for you. Like you don't want to be leaving the room feeling. You don't even want to be
Deflated
neutral.
and
You
just,
don't even, But my point I'm trying to prove to him is not even neutral. Neutral is not good enough. If it's neutral, like, it doesn't mean you have to not like associate with certain people or hang out. I've got a lot of friends that I love, and it's just I need to put life is too short to even, for me anyways, be at that neutral level. I want to be around people that are like feeding my energy and making me feel good and feeling energized after I've left, and I felt like, wow, that was amazing to catch up. Not just like, oh yeah, my battery's drained now. Like so I feel like the accent's done that with relationships, friendships, with my own boundaries, with myself, loving myself. I always thought I was I always claimed, like, I would be that girl that claimed that, like, yeah, I love myself. Like, I'm confident. I love myself. Not in the stuck up way, just in the, like, I love myself. I appreciate myself. I love the values. I love who I am. But I didn't realize, my mum taught me this actually, she said, someone who loves you will respect you. If someone is disrespecting you, they can't love you as well. They can't do both. And I remember that sinking in for myself as well, not only just for partners, but for myself. I'm like, just because I say I love myself doesn't mean I truly love myself if I allow other people to disrespect me.
you.
Because if I let, like, if this a certain individual was doing this to my best friend or to my sister, I'll be like, fuck them up. Yeah. But I realized I wouldn't do that stuff for myself. So I don't truly love myself if I'm allowing people to hurt me or make me feel shit or take advantage of me or whatever it is. So the injury was more of a wake up call. And I felt like, because I was projecting this stuff on social media as well, like, just my attitude, I felt like I attracted more people that were
like you.
Like that. And then I was able to witness more of the stuff that I liked and the people that I enjoyed being around. So, and with the accident as well, it's more so made me realize, like, your whole existence on earth, I feel like, isn't based on anything about our avatar, like our shell. Like, it's not about our job, and it's not about how we look, or it's not about the things that we have, and it's the whole experience of life is just about what we're
Living.
doing. Yeah, living in the love that it's honestly to love people and for them to love you. Like just those moments. And I just, after my accident, I just chased that. More so, not worrying about what my life looked like, worrying about what my life
Felt
felt like.
like. Yep. I
Yeah.
love that. I fucking love that. I resonate with that so well. And so with that as well, so what are you doing for work at the moment?
So I make content for BSC Performance. So I do the social media for there, but I also do my own social media. So I finally this year I'm getting money from sponsors for my trip.
Yay!
I've always got free parts, but this year is my first year. I'm getting some money from sponsors, so that's cool. I also started doing some like talent work, so some Zebedee Talent. It's an inclusive talent agency. So disabled or alopecia or albino or whatever, like anything that shows that you're different, like they
Yeah.
highlight those. And we do, like, I've done a couple commercials and they're good paying,
Yeah.
good paying
Gotcha.
jobs. I want to keep hunting those down. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That is amazing. That's so good. So with I know you've gotten into drifting now, is this right? Tell us a little bit more about how that then came into the picture. Because obviously, since your accident, you still had sort of that, I'm guessing, that passion or that fire for the thrill of that type of sport. So
Yeah.
how did you get into that?
I didn't know anything about drifting. I still
Mhm.
hardly know anything.
Yeah.
I'm still very much an amateur, but it was like 4 years ago now. A friend invited me to go out drifting. It was a new friend, someone I didn't know for very long, and they just invited me to go out drifting. And I was like, you know what? I'll go. And it was my birthday, so I drove at 9 o'clock at night, 10 hours to New South Wales, went drifting. And the first corner, I really didn't have any idea. All I could picture was Tokyo Drift or whatever that is. Fast
Yeah.
food. I don't even know. I didn't. I just knew. I'm like, it doesn't sound like I wouldn't have a shit time. I know I
Yeah,
would
it just
enjoy
sounds like
it.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, so I went and I did it, and I was a passenger, obviously, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And by the first corner, like I was already set, like this is what I'm doing. Because
Mm.
at that moment, I was already driving my Ford Ranger. So driving to me, I knew if I could drive a Ranger, I can drift a car. I was naive at this point. I didn't realize that or normally you need a manual car, you need a clutch, there's certain things. But nonetheless, I bought my drift car 2 weeks later. So it's the same as a dirt bike, honestly. It's just, I
Straight
think
away.
that's just pinnacle, like ADHD,
You
like spontaneous. Like, all right, I'm going to find this new hobby and I'm just going to go 100% with it.
running. Yeah.
I actually stayed fixated with it because it's so fun. So I bought a car 2 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
That was when COVID hit. So I didn't realize how serious
Fuck.
COVID was. So it was in
Yeah.
Tasmania. So we waited a year I could get it from Tasmania to Griffith, New South Wales. A friend of mine, well, he wasn't a friend at the time. We became really good friends. Dean Rossiter, in Griffith, New South Wales, built my whole car over 3.5 years. It's very expensive when you pay someone to build a car.
Wow.
I have slave labor now. I've got Jesse. But back then it was very expensive. So it took 3.5 years. And it's funny because it was just one of those moments where like everyone was like, when's the car gonna be ready? When's the car gonna be ready? And I'm the type of person that doesn't sit on the sideline. Like people would see me go to these drift events traveling and they're like, Christina, like you're living your life, like you're doing the most. And I'm like, people don't understand. Like I'm at 10% right now. Like this is not me. Like I need to be behind the
The
bike or
wheel.
behind the wheel.
Yeah.
And although I did get back on the bike 5 months after my accident just to prove a point to the doctor.
Oh my God. What?
Yeah, we built a frame and I got back on it because he said I couldn't ride because of my abs. I don't have balance. So I got back on and rode.
Of
But
course you did.
yeah, but anyways, my ex kept the bike there for a while. It was very hard to get that back. And when I finally got it back, that was by then I had found drifting and all my focus and attention was
On drifting.
going onto drifting. And when the 3.5 years was coming, people were messaging me like, "When's it done?" And I just knew, like, the whole time I knew the feeling, and I knew exactly what I feel now is I will be drifting, and I'll be like, that whole wait was worth it. I'll do it over again to get the feeling that I've got right now and the lifestyle that I have right now. I just knew it was going to be worth it. So it was very hard for me to be patient. I learned
Wait.
patience.
Yeah.
But people just thought like, oh, she's fine. Like she's living her life and she's trying. It was the hard to
Yeah.
not be doing something myself.
That you're so passionate about, and you're like, I want it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. And now that I'm drifting, it's been a year and a half and I've been drifting as much as possible. I have a automatic. So for those that don't know, drifting is basically like you've got a car around a racetrack, and instead of going around the track as fast as possible, you're going sideways. So you're drifting, you're losing traction, and the whole point of it is to lose traction for the whole layout that's designed. Brake traction at the cones, so then there's a cold zone because we line up again to go out because there's only a certain amount of cars that are allowed out because it's pretty intense. And drifting, you're not
crazy.
trying to race each other. You're not trying to beat one. You're just trying to keep it together.
In line. Yeah.
And you want to drift with your partner or tandeming person as close as possible. Because I'm driving an automatic, I don't have a handbrake. I did have one, but when Jesse would use it, it would stall up the engine and the engine would turn off. So we disconnected the handbrake, and because of that, I don't tandem with cars. I do lead, and cars will chase me because I know they can pull up and pull the handbrake and slow down if I make a mistake. But because I can't do that for them, I just lead, and I have so much fun. I take out as many passengers as I can, and I think so far it's like I think I'm nearly hit 70 passengers now after the weekend.
Whoa.
Year and a half, yeah. I've written it. You know how I don't know if you
A
had
little
it, but you know how
tally?
people have like people have like a little fuck list when like I mine's like passenger list. That's what I do. Like, yep, done her, done him, done her. Take
That's
done
so
that.
good.
Yeah,
That's
no, that is
amazing.
awesome because it's like it's just my way. Like I feel like a bit of my purpose now with the injury. I had no idea drifting was an option for me.
Yeah.
The moment I realized that was an option for me, that
It
completely
just opened
changed.
your world completely.
Just because the risk to reward with riding a dirt bike compared to drifting, it's just,
Mm,
and I'm like, oh my god, if I didn't know about this, what about other people? So I want to bring as much attention and light to this sport as possible, so then that way someone else will be like, oh, if you're a motorhead, I know there's an outlet for them because there's no other sport out there that will allow a disabled person to compete at the same level as an
yep.
non-disabled person. You know what I mean? Like if we were to go to the Olympics, I wouldn't have to go to the Paralympics for drifting. And that little bit of connection with the non-disabled community is a huge thing when you are disabled, because you're just constantly reminded that
You're
you
not like everybody else.
yeah, you're not like everybody. You're not. It's not that you can't do what everyone else can do. You can definitely. There's always
It's just
when there's a will, there's a way. It's just you're always at a disadvantage. You know what I mean? Like there's certain things are going to take longer, slower, more money, and it's just stuff like that. So having something like this is really important.
And do you think that now, because I love to ask my guests, like, what your purpose is in life, do you think that now that you've found drifting and you've found sort of like what really sets your soul on fire, do you think that your purpose now is to make it as loud in the community as possible for people who are like you, who are disabled?
Yeah, I feel like my purpose since rehab, especially when I was in rehab, sitting there trying to find people that I could look up to, because I was just like, you're new to
You
this
don't have
world.
anyone.
Yeah, like for example, if you get a dog now and the dog is born with a certain disability or condition, the first thing you want to do is learn about it. Like you're like, shit,
Yeah.
like what are people doing? Like so then the dog can have, you know,
The best
and
quality of life.
yeah. So you want to you want to learn. With me, that was the same with my injury. I'm sitting there like, all right, cool. I need examples of people with a disability doing things so I can see, because I'm a big believer in, not that this should be the truth, but people kind of need to see something for the first time to believe it's possible. You know, back 10 years ago, or actually it was longer than that, probably about 20 years ago, when someone did the first backflip on a dirt bike, they would have thought that was impossible.
Yeah.
Carrie
And
Hart,
now,
whoever it was. And now they're doing triple backflips.
yeah.
And I believe it's only possible because they've seen someone else do it. Obviously, there's someone that has to be the first,
Yeah.
but my purpose, I feel like in life, is now to, if I can just be that like little bit of light for just anyone in rehab or non-disabled, just someone just feeling like not confident enough to give something a try, to just I just want to be that example that someone can look at me and be like, right, if she can do it, I can do it. I don't care if they are pitying me or whatever it is. Honestly, as long as I can help them in some way. Not that I need pity. I know some people they say like,
They're
oh,
just like, oh yeah, because she's in a wheelchair. Like, I guess, like, like that's.
yeah.
Uh,
But I honestly, I'm
you're
like,
like, I don't give a fuck.
as long as I'm helping them
Yeah.
throw some balls to
To
go out
try
there,
something.
yep, I'm happy to be a part of that. And like I feel like that's people say life doesn't start until you have kids, and I feel that's such a
Such a cop
that
out. That is such a cop
yeah,
out.
it's
No.
so bad because of
Yeah.
especially for all the parent or the potential parents that can't have kids or
Yeah.
parents that lose their kids and then can't like it's such a cop out because you're also saying like right now I'm 30 years old, my life up until now hasn't been
Worthy.
worth it and
Yeah, same.
hasn't
Same.
started yet.
I'm 30.
So
I don't have kids. I don't plan on having kids
yeah, so
anytime
and I
soon.
said yeah, and I said to my partner too, like we don't have plans to have kids. I because I want to have the urge. If I come across the urge and I'm like, oh, I want to have kids, then it's different because I don't want to have something that I don't want. It's just not going to end well. So and I feel like, but though when parents say that, I feel like, oh, life doesn't start until you have kids, and I truly believe they say that because they become selfless and they are putting all their love and intention into a child and
kids.
they're giving and they have because they make those comments like, oh, you're selfish and it's just like what? I believe that's why I feel like I still have a purpose in life even if I decide to have kids or not, as long as I'm able to provide education or guidance to
Other
adults or
people.
kids. That's my purpose. I feel fulfillment through that. Like
Yeah.
yeah, and I've got my 2 Rottweilers. They're my children.
Oh my God. Yes, we love dogs. Absolutely. I've sort of been a little bit curious in terms of learning a little bit more about how your life after your accident changed in terms of like you having to adjust everything in your life. So I want to ask you, like, what were some of the hardest fucking things that you also obviously needing to fix in terms of like being able to go in and out of your house, like access, wheelchair, things like that. But like, what about some of the things that people don't really know about?
Yeah,
Like you said before in the hospital about a nurse having to push shit out of your ass. Like,
So that's the first thing I was thinking of.
like what the fuck?
So I posted a screenshot the other day on Instagram with my boss talking about like pissing my pants at work. And it's funny because I actually cropped the image because I was gonna post it. I'll post it one day. I think it's funny. I was gonna caption it. I was like, oh, now I'll just focus on the pissing part of the message. So I cropped it. But right before it, it's Bogger saying, my boss, saying, I hope you had a good poo today. And I'm like, yeah, I had a good poo because in the disabled world, bowels is a huge thing. And that's why they say when people think someone in a wheelchair, oh, like, do you miss walking? And it's like one of those diagrams where you see the iceberg and like walking is the tip of it.
And then everything else.
There is so much more that is consuming than not the ability to walk around and get up. So bowels is a huge thing. Like right now, I will still take up to an hour on the toilet. Good days can be 15 minutes. It can be an hour because of I take medication the day before. There's so much to it, and this is why you don't also, I explain to as many people as possible, but it's just, for example, I'll go to work late one day and someone might say, oh, afternoon shift, and it's like, you have no idea. I forgot to take my meds at a certain time. I tried to get it because I needed to give it 12 hours. So I took my meds late. I got up at 5 a.m. when I usually do to go to the toilet. Because of the meds taking late, my bowels aren't in the right place to go. So it didn't really work. I had to go back into bed, wait another hour, let my body stretch out because when it stretches out, it helps move the bowels. I'm like, okay, yep. I can tell by feeling over my gut. I'm like, yep, bowels in the right spot. Go back on the toilet. So I've spent like a couple hours on the toilet in and out. There's gloves and lube involved with this because there is manual stimulation, like because I can't push. So I need to so before I go to the toilet, I put a suppository up my that's a laxative. Let that sink in for 10 minutes, go on the toilet. Then when I'm on there, you can massage. So I massage my body, and that's a workout sometimes because when it's not working, like I'm twisting my body, I'm massaging, like I'm building up a sweat. So I actually have a fan on in the bathroom because that's how much I build up a sweat. And if it's struggling, you have to use manual stimulation. Well, if you don't, that's definitely what works. You put a glove and you have to like circulate up there, and it activates the bowels to then want to evacuate. So it's a full process, and then because of that, I hold on for 2 days, and depending on how much I eat, the way the nurse described it is picture a hose full of water, and you've kinked it, and the pressure's still there, right? And you've just kinked it, and then you go to release it, that pressure just comes out. That's the same with my blood pressure, because it's just been holding on in the bowels. My blood pressure dropped. So when I was in rehab, this was a huge thing. I could not go to the toilet. I had to use it was a chair, a tilt chair, because going on the toilet would make me want to faint. So multiple times I'd be like nearly fainting in the toilet because of the blood pressure dropping.
Oh
made
my
me
God.
so lightheaded. So now I have a very poor diet, so it's a bit self-inflicted. I don't eat much, but I don't eat much. So these are little things that people don't notice. Like, for example, I'm laughing about it, but it's a pretty serious thing. Like, I don't eat as much as I want, or I'm not healthy because subconsciously I'm like, fuck, if I eat this or if I eat too much of this, I'm going to be stuck on the toilet longer. So I sacrifice a lot of things, and I sit on the toilet and I'm like, fuck, if I've eaten cheese or whatever, and then I go on the toilet and then my blood pressure drops. So I have to lay down for a little bit. I can't just get up and go get dressed and go to work because I'm like lightheaded. So you have all this stuff going on, and then you go to work and someone's like, oh, late shift. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and explain everything.
Late shift.
You know what I mean. So, and there's a lot of stuff like that. Catheters and dehydrating myself because of drinking water and having to catheterize. You get UTIs. There's a lot of health stuff. The stress. I think the worst thing from the injury, stress-wise, was dealing with Centrelink insurance companies and stuff like the court, like the whole paper. Like, you're trying to learn to be in a wheelchair and you're getting
bombarded with like all these things,
and you're having to prove yourself, prove how disabled you are. I had to fight Centrelink because I got denied by Centrelink because I was not disabled enough.
What the fuck?
And mind you, when I got this phone call, I had an active UTI. I literally pissed myself in the bed. Got the phone call and Centrelink, sorry, Christina, your application's been denied because you're not disabled enough. And I'm like,
what the fuck do you mean?
They're like, because you're too independent. And I'm like, I'm literally sitting in my own piss right now, and I know there are people out there that fake disability payments, and I'm like, and I went to Centrelink and I asked, and I said to them, like, how can so and so get me? And he basically hinted to me, you've got to play on the mental side. They will be playing on the mental side of things, and I'm like, and it's just a shit feeling to have to justify. That, of course, it's stressing me out. Of course, I don't want to piss myself. I'm not gonna like sit here and dwell on it though. Like, I'm gonna get up, change, shower.
Because you're not like actively depressed about your whole situation. You're trying to move forward with your life. Okay, fuck. I'm sorry. I'm excited about trying to live life. And yet you're here trying to tell me, oh, sorry, you're not disabled enough because you're pretty independent. Fuck off.
I know, and it's and I feel so bad. And right now with NDIS, I'm going through the same thing, not to that extent. They made me plan and they didn't listen to me. They put it forward when I hadn't gave them phone call to confirm certain numbers for my catheter usage. So, for example, like I had a certain allowance for catheters. They gave me less than 10% of that allowance for the year. So I've had to reuse catheters. And this is so unhygienic. So I'm reusing because I don't have because a box of catheters costs $210. That's 20 catheters. So it should be one use per catheter. So $200 for 20 pisses. NDIS pays for it, right? But when I don't have the budget for it, I only had a couple of weeks worth of the budget, so I'm reusing, and it's just these little things are what people really. I struggle with the Botox in my bladder.
Yeah, you said about that before.
Yeah, fighting companies, because I was with TAC and now I'm with the NDIS. TAC used to pay for my things, and now that I'm with the NDIS, I had to go. That they said they don't cover the Botox. I'm like, oh, okay. They're like, you're gonna have to go through the public. I'm like, all right. Public wouldn't take me, so I'm like, fine, I'll go private. No one in the I had phone calls after phone calls, and Linda at work, like my boss's mum, should say, like, oh, how's this going? And trying to explain to people why you haven't got Botox in a year because you're tired of ringing
having to
people
find
just for them to say, oh, sorry, no, we know you're willing to pay whatever the price is. I don't care. Say it's 10 grand. I don't care. I need it. They're like, sorry, you don't have private health. We're not going to take you. So then I got private health, and then there's a year. Wait, and I was lucky. I had a friend that is dating someone that's working at the Austin Hospital that pushed me
for you
forward.
to go
That's
in.
what allowed me to go through the public system.
That's crazy.
If I don't have that, like just I would. I feel like a lot of disabled people could relate to the point of like we give up on a lot of stuff because there's already so much that we're doing daily that it's just like, oh, we
I
end
just
up.
can't be, yeah, like it's just another hoop
Yeah.
that you have to jump through, and you're just like, I'm
Yeah.
tired of jumping through hoops.
Yeah, but with the disability specifically, like mental hurdles, because the injury itself was fine. Like totally, like didn't see that as a negative. I knew I was like, it's fine. I will turn this into the best
Something.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew. I'm like, I'll use it to my advantage. Like it's fine. Like it will work out. But I had a few moments. So my first moment was when I got back from rehab and I put my skinny leg jeans on that were really tight, and I looked in the mirror and they were baggy on my calves, and I like got so upset and I cried because I was like, I thought I was okay with a disability, but then I was like, oh,
nothing-
now I look different.
Yeah.
I my legs are really skinny. Like I wasn't very confident at that point in my life. Now don't get what I look like, but at that stage when I didn't love myself and see the value that I produce as a soul.
Person.
Yeah. So I looked at it, I'm like, oh my God, my legs are really skinny. I had a bit of a cry about it. I had a bit of sook. And then I was like, right, can't do anything about it. My go-to rule was anytime I had something negative come to my head, I like replaced it with 5 positive things. So I would be like, right, okay, my legs look skinny. Right, it's right. You can look good with this, and you could put trackies on, or you could do this, or I don't know what I did at the moment, but I got over it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Another thought was at the moment, at the time I was actually engaged. My partner proposed 3 weeks before my accident.
Whoa.
So I had been recently engaged, and the thought of walking down the aisle, not being able to do that, and I was like, that upset me, and I cried. Where now, Jesse and I don't plan to get married, but if we got married, walking down the aisle is the last thing I'm even concerned about.
Yeah.
Because I know the value in the wedding and the celebration and the love, like what I value in
connection
life.
that you have with him. Yeah.
Yeah, and what the things that you value in life change, like as you grow. And then with moments like this, it's like walking down the aisle isn't important. It's like the most
Least
it's
right
the
now,
least,
yeah.
it's the furthest thing away from what marriage means.
Yeah.
It's walking down an aisle. Like it doesn't mean your dad's not giving you away. It doesn't mean you're marrying the love of your life. So I got over that pretty quickly. Those are the 2 big things I remember that actually upset me, like made me cry, like get really down for a couple of days. And then my turning point was like the way I look at it now is, you know how people, I guess when people say like when you want to do affirmations and you want to say to yourself, look, I'm beautiful and I'm strong, and even if you don't believe it, just to say it, and eventually you see these people
Start to believe it.
Kind of in that same way of I got so busy worrying about the things that I could do. I just got so busy traveling that all the things that I missed the beach. I was too busy driving on the beach going to Bribey Island.
Yeah.
Wait, was Jager there with me that time? No. But I'd done forward driving with her, but not Bribey Island. It was another person. I got so busy doing stuff for myself
that you could do that you forgot about the things that you couldn't do.
Yeah, exactly. And now that's why anything that people say like I don't even dwell on things. Actually, sorry, I lie. There's only been one thing recently since my relationship. Being in a relationship, a healthy relationship where you want to do everything for the partner, not being able to help was one thing. I was just like, no, it didn't get me down. It just, I noticed myself a lot more than usual ever saying, fuck, I wish I could do that. fuck, I wish I could just get up and help Jessie do this. I wish I could get just because I just want to help someone.
Yeah.
But so it doesn't come from like a pity thing. It's not like, oh, I want to be able to do it for myself. It's because I want to do it for someone else.
Yeah,
So
someone that you love.
Yeah, so that's the only thing. But then I realized, okay, what can I provide for people, my friends, that I can't do physically? So, for example, there's a friend today that reached out, and I'm really tight on money. I just finished building a house. She's just reached out to her friends asking for money to book some flights for something that she needs to go to that's really important to her. I had to ask her, I'm like, what's your pay ID? I think this is a scam. I need to make sure. She's not just asking for money. But like, I really have a really tight budget this week. But, still I'm like, nah, give up this, give the money, because that's something I can do. Like I can
Provide
help.
that for your friends.
Yeah. A guy helped me on the weekend. I gave him $100 cash to fix my drift car on the weekend. He didn't take it. He hid it back. I paid ID. And I know money's not a good point of value. Like, I'm not trying to be like, money's not a good thing, but it's something that
you can do.
I can do.
You can physically do. Yeah.
Social media. If a friend reaches out, hey, Christina, can you create, like, a lot of my content like a few years ago was my friends' content. Like, I was making all these reels, advertisements, and people thought I was getting paid, or people thought this company was mine. I'm like,
you were just promoting your friends' company.
That's not married. Like, I'm not going to charge. It's something I can do. So that's where I've learned that mentally be a better partner for my partner. Make sure you're not, even though I do stress him out, make sure I try not to stress him out too much. So it's a bit of a, that was the only thing recently that I struggled with.
Yeah, that's completely understandable. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like I could just sit and talk to you now for another hour, but like, this has just been amazing. Like, I love the fact that I got to learn about you and who you are, and just your morals and your ethics and values as a person. And I love sort of wrapping up my episode just really quickly. If 30-year-old Christina now could give one piece of advice to 8-year-old you, what would that be?
I feel like I don't need to give myself advice. I honestly feel like if I had the opportunity, I was in a room, I would just say, like, Christina, do not shrink yourself and make yourself uncomfortable to make other people feel comfortable. Because I feel like with the injury, I did that a lot to make others feel more comfortable. It's like, no, just be yourself. Be yourself, because that will end up being like your superpower later. And I would say to always just keep believing in yourself. Like, you're the only person that knows exactly what you're capable of doing, and blur out the noise. I just always just keep focus on yourself, because like I knew what I had, and you get a lot of distractions coming your way, and you just got to stay focused and be true to yourself, and you will always end up where you're supposed to be. You're never going to be led a path that you can't handle. And even if at the moment you don't think you can handle it, it's always for a lesson, it always makes you bigger and better later.
That's amazing. You're fucking incredible. Honestly, honey, thank you so much for being a guest on my podcast today. I honestly really, really appreciate it so much. And
thank you for having me.
For everyone listening, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, just so I can continue on with this little passion project of mine. And if you have anyone else that you want to suggest to be on the show, please leave a comment or send me a DM on Instagram, and I would love to reach out to them. So
keep that engagement up, guys, because we need the engagement. That's what you need. You need to be on Jess's podcast, commenting, liking, and thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it, and I hope we can catch up in real life and take you as a trip cast, so then I can learn more about you, because I feel like it's been a lot about me.
All right, honey, thank you, and thanks everyone for listening. Bye.
Bye.